Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, there's still something powerful inside you waiting to be awakened? As if life were giving you signs, but you didn't know exactly how to decipher them? What if I told you that God has placed a secret power in you, and it could be the key to completely transforming your journey, but that so far you haven't used it? There are forces within you that the world has yet to see, and today you're going to discover how to unleash them. Are you ready to take that step and finally become who you were chosen to be? Have you ever stopped to think that nothing you experience is by chance? Sometimes we feel lost, as if we were navigating aimlessly through problems, frustrations, and doubts. But what if I told you that all of this, the situations that seem confusing, the obstacles that seem too difficult, are part of something much bigger, and that, in fact, there is a deep purpose behind your journey here. Life, even in the quietest moments, is always trying to give us clues. God, with His perfect wisdom, has placed you exactly where you should be, and the experiences you live through are like pieces of a puzzle waiting to fall into place. Often, the feeling of displacement, as if you were different from the others around you, is one of the first signs that you are chosen for something greater. This uncomfortable feeling is actually a spiritual compass that points to the awakening of a dormant gift. You feel deep in your chest that you weren't meant to live an ordinary life, as if something inside you has always known that there is more to explore. Chosen ones often go through periods of deep doubt because, before they understand the power they carry, they have to be shaped by life's difficulties. These trials are like invisible training, preparing you to access a strength that you never even imagined you possessed. But the biggest challenge lies not in the difficulties themselves, but in the fact that many chosen ones don't recognize what is being prepared within them. It's easy to think that you're lost or that you're just going through bad times. However, the truth is that God has never stopped guiding you. He's just preparing you for something you can't yet fully see. What may seem like a sequence of random situations is actually a great orchestrated plot to polish you. Each step, each mistake, each difficulty is part of the process of forming your character and strengthening the gift you have received. That's why the discomfort you feel is an invitation to leave the surface of life and dive deeper. It's as if the universe is whispering, "Wake up, something big is waiting for you." You may be used to hearing that things happen at the right time, but what if that right time is closer than you think? Perhaps the time to awaken your power is now. But first, you need to recognize that everything you've been through so far is part of your mission. That's the first step. Accept that your presence here is no coincidence. Everything, from the moments of doubt to the small joys, is contributing to revealing a greater purpose. The restlessness you feel, that voice that insists there is something more, is your spirit trying to remind you of who you are and what you have been called to do. But in order to hear that voice clearly, you need a moment to pause, to connect with yourself. And it's exactly at this point that the power begins to reveal itself. Have you ever noticed how we're always surrounded by noise? And it's not just city noise or cell phone notifications. It's the thoughts that go on and on, the worries about the future, the weight of other people's expectations. It's easy to get lost in this chaos and forget that the power you carry is hidden in the stillness within you. God speaks clearly, but He chooses silence to manifest Himself. And it is precisely in this pause, in this encounter with emptiness, that the secret power that lies dormant can finally be accessed. We have been conditioned to seek answers outside of ourselves, in the advice of others, in books, in the opinion of society. But the real power doesn't need to come from outside. It's already in you, waiting for you to make room for it to manifest. It's like a treasure hidden at the bottom of the ocean. To find it, you need to dive deep, beyond the waves of superficial thoughts and emotions that distract your mind every day. Inner silence is that depth. It allows you to listen not only to what your mind wants to say, but also to what your soul is whispering. We often avoid silence because it brings us face to face with things we try to ignore. fears, insecurities, and doubts. But it is precisely in this confrontation that your power begins to emerge. In silence, you stop fighting against yourself and begin to align yourself with the essence that God has placed in you. This alignment is like a channel opening up, and suddenly you realize that the answers you were looking for were there all along. Silence is not a meaningless void. It is the space where your power can breathe, expand, and gain strength. Simple practices, such as meditation, silent prayer, or just a few minutes away from distractions, can be the start of something extraordinary. When you allow yourself to be silent, something magical happens. Your intuition grows stronger. Intuition is one of the clearest ways God speaks to you. Those sudden ideas, that feeling of, I know what I need to do. All this comes from the silent space where His power reveals itself. The problem is that we often ignore these sensations because we're too busy to listen to them. So the invitation is simple, but powerful. Give yourself the gift of silence. It doesn't have to be anything complex. It could be a walk alone, a moment in silence when you wake up, or even a few minutes with your eyes closed in the middle of a busy day. The more you cultivate this practice, the clearer the path ahead will be. The power that God has placed in you is waiting to be activated, but it won't be found in the midst of turmoil. It reveals itself when you pause and listen carefully to what has been there all along. And as soon as you start to hear that inner voice more clearly, you realize that what it reveals are more than just ideas. They are unique skills and gifts that you may not even have known you had. Have you ever had the feeling that the things you do easily aren't as valuable? As if your skills are too common to be special? Perhaps you have a natural ability to understand the feelings of others, to say things that touch the heart, or to perceive solutions where no one else does. But you know what happens? Many chosen people keep these gifts under wraps because they don't recognize that they are unique and powerful. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that because something comes naturally, it can't be a divine gift. And that's exactly where the power lies dormant. God never gives abilities at random. Every talent, skill, or characteristic you have is an essential part of the bigger plan. Perhaps you have a deep gaze, a presence that calms others, or the ability to see subtle connections between events. It may be that your intuition guides you as if you know what to do without a logical explanation. These things may seem small, but they are clear signs that there is a specific purpose for what has been planted in you. The difference is that the power of the chosen often doesn't come as a scandalous miracle, but as a discreet gift that needs to be polished to reveal itself in all its strength. Life may have made you believe that these talents were not enough. Perhaps you heard that you needed to be more ambitious, stronger, or more like others to be valuable. This is a lie that disconnects you from your true essence. What you have is rare, and the world is in need of exactly this kind of ability. Chosen ones are those who carry gifts that are invisible to the eyes of the ordinary world. But for this power to reveal itself, you must first allow yourself to see it for what it is. A God-given blessing that needs to be used with confidence. You were not called to ignore what is special about you. A gift doesn't fully manifest itself until you start to put it into practice. Even if it's timidly at first, small actions can ignite this inner flame. The right word said to someone at the right time, a gesture of compassion, a choice based on your intuition. Each time you use what you've been given, the power grows stronger. And suddenly, what seemed small begins to grow, and you realize that the gift was there all along, just waiting for you to recognize it and use it. If you're still wondering if what you have inside you is enough, the answer is clear. Yes, it's more than enough. God never gives a gift without a purpose and never puts an ability in you without a specific reason. Even if you don't understand it now, there is something great in store for every talent you carry. You don't need to have all the answers at the beginning. Just recognize that what you have is unique and start taking the first steps. Power grows in practice, and the more you trust the process, the more it reveals itself naturally. As you begin to recognize and use your gifts, a new feeling emerges. The certainty that there is something greater guiding you. You realize that the path doesn't have to be forced. It reveals itself as you move along, because what's inside you is already part of the journey, and always has been. You know that feeling that you were born for something greater? Like there's a mission waiting for you. But you don't know exactly what it is yet. Many chosen ones live with this restlessness in their chests, a kind of emptiness, but one that can't be filled with ordinary things. You try to get on with life like everyone else, but deep down you feel that there's something different about you, as if you're waiting for the right moment to awaken. And this feeling, although difficult to explain, is not a mistake. It's a spiritual call, a divine message to remind you that you have something important to do in this world. This feeling is often accompanied by doubts. Why do you seem to be out of step with everyone else? Why do certain things that make others happy not fulfill you in the same way? This is because the chosen one wasn't made to live an ordinary life. When you carry a greater purpose within you, it's natural to feel out of place at first. It's as if some part of you already knows there's something great in store, but you still don't know how to achieve it. This discomfort is not a burden for no reason. It is a compass, pointing to the awakening of the power that lies dormant. Many ignore this call because it doesn't come in an obvious way. It's not a voice from the sky, but an inner whisper. A persistent restlessness that doesn't go away with the passage of time. Instead of running away from it or trying to fit into molds that are not their own, the chosen one needs to learn to listen and trust. This spiritual call is an invitation to step out of your comfort zone and align with who you really are. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about starting to realize that the moment has already arrived. It's happening now, with every step you take towards your truth. Sometimes life's circumstances seem to push you onto the right path, even if this initially manifests as challenges or frustrations. God puts you in situations that challenge you precisely because He wants to awaken your potential. Discomfort is a form of spiritual growth, because it forces you to step out of the automatic and look deeper within yourself. The problem is that we often confuse this pressure with a sign that something is wrong, when in fact, it's the opposite. It's a sign that you're about to access something much greater. Trusting this process isn't easy, I know. You may feel tired or think you're alone on this journey. But the truth is that all of this is part of the calling. Every challenge is an opportunity for you to awaken another piece of the power you carry. With every step you take, you get closer to what has been prepared for you. The feeling of carrying something great inside you is not an illusion. It's an invitation to start acting now. And when you respond to this call, you realize that what seemed like a burden was actually the energy of something great wanting to be born through you. Feeling afraid is natural. All of us at some point ask ourselves, what if I fail? Or, what if I'm not enough? Fear is a silent barrier that appears whenever we are about to do something significant. But here's the truth. You will never access the power you carry within you as long as fear is in control. The power God has given you doesn't manifest in stagnation. It grows as you act, even in fear. The steps may be small at first, but each movement towards your purpose releases a new layer of the dormant potential that exists within you. Fear makes you believe that you need to be ready before you act, that only when you know everything or have absolute confidence can you start. But this is an illusion. Preparedness is not a state you reach before you act. It is the action itself that prepares you. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to move forward in spite of it. It is precisely in this movement that your power begins to grow and take shape. Every time you take a step, even if you don't know exactly where it will take you, divine energy aligns with you and propels you even further forward. Remember, you don't need to see the whole path to start walking. Imagine that your inner power is like a flame that intensifies as you feed it with actions. Every time you act, whether it's offering a word of encouragement, trusting your intuition, or accepting an opportunity that seems challenging. You're strengthening that flame. Fear, on the other hand, is like a curtain that tries to hide that light, making you believe that you're not ready. But the truth is that your strength will only be revealed if you break through that curtain. Often it's not failure that scares us the most, but what might happen if we do well. What do we do if suddenly the doors open and our power is truly revealed? It's a huge responsibility to be who you've been called to be. That's why fear isn't a sign that you're on the wrong path. In fact, it appears precisely because you are close to accessing something great. Fear wants to keep you small, but God has called you to be great. And the secret is to understand that power grows in practice, one step at a time. Each action, however small it may seem, is a vote of confidence in yourself and in the purpose that has been placed in you. Even when fear whispers to you that you're not enough, that it won't work, you have to keep going. And in doing so, you'll realize that confidence doesn't come before action. It's built along the way. Your power is like a muscle that gets stronger through constant practice. The more you act, the more it will grow, to the point where you'll look back and wonder why you ever doubted yourself. And it is at this pace, moving forward despite the uncertainties, that you begin to realize that you are not alone. Doors begin to open, the right people appear, and the universe begins to conspire in your favor. When you finally start to act, something curious happens. Things around you start to move. Situations that previously seemed impossible start to fall into place. People appear at the right time, and coincidences start to become too frequent to ignore. This isn't luck or chance. It's the universe responding to your movement. It has always been waiting for you to take the first steps towards aligning yourself with the greater purpose you carry. As soon as you act with faith, the universe conspires in your favor. And this synchronicity is one of the clearest signs that you are on the right path. The signs are not always grandiose or obvious at first glance. They can appear in subtle forms, such as words you hear over and over again, numbers that repeat themselves, dreams that seem significant, or unexpected encounters. It may be that, on an ordinary day, you hear exactly what you needed to hear from an unknown person, or find a solution just when you were thinking of giving up. These little signs are like beacons along the way, guiding you in the right direction and confirming that there is a greater intelligence at work in your life. The problem is that, in the rush of everyday life, many of these signs go unnoticed. We are so used to looking for complicated and immediate answers that we forget to look at the simple messages around us. The universe communicates with you in unexpected ways, and attention to detail makes all the difference. When you slow down and stay present, you realize that the answers you are looking for are often already before your eyes. But it takes an open heart to recognize them, and a spirit willing to trust. Synchronicity is a divine form of confirmation. Once you align yourself with your purpose, the pieces begin to move in perfect harmony. It doesn't mean that you will never face challenges, but you will realize that even the obstacles seem to be there to strengthen or redirect you. Sometimes what seems like a no is just a necessary change of course to take you to something greater. The universe doesn't make mistakes. It knows exactly what needs to happen for you to achieve what you've been chosen for. Trusting these signs is essential, even when human logic doesn't make sense. When you decide to open yourself up to these messages, you begin to see life with new eyes. Every encounter, every decision, and even every difficulty becomes an opportunity to learn and confirm that you are not alone. The universe does not act by chance. It is always collaborating with those who walk with faith and purpose. And when you realize that everything around you is in tune with your mission, the last piece of this puzzle falls into place. Your power is not yours alone. It is part of something bigger that wants to flow through you. You've come this far for a reason. It's no longer time to wait. The power that God has placed within you is not a bauble or something to be kept. It's a gift, and like every gift, it needs to be used and shared. When you understand that you're not just living for yourself, but to be a channel of transformation in the lives of the people around you, everything starts to make sense. Your power wasn't given to you to keep hidden, and every day you put off putting it into practice is a wasted opportunity to fulfill your mission. The world around you needs what you have to offer. It may seem like too big a responsibility, but remember, you were prepared for it. All the experiences you've lived through, the ups, the downs, the victories and the defeats, have shaped you exactly as you were meant to be. It doesn't matter if your gift is to heal, inspire, teach, or bring hope. What matters is that you have something unique and necessary. And the beautiful thing is that by using this power, you not only transform the lives of others, you also transform yourself. Waiting for the perfect time is one of the biggest traps that fear creates. But the truth is that the perfect time will never come, because the right time is always now. God didn't choose you to wait for the ideal conditions. He has given you the tools and is calling you to act right where you are. It may start with simple gestures, a kind word, a courageous decision, or an act of compassion. The important thing is to take the first step. When you act, the power that seemed small expands, and the impact grows in ways you never imagined. When you embrace your purpose and allow yourself to be that channel of transformation, life takes on a new meaning. The doubts that paralyzed you before begin to disappear, and in their place is born a deep sense of alignment and peace. The true strength of your power lies in action. It's not enough to just believe in it or recognize it. It needs to be put into motion, and each time you use it, the stronger it becomes. Transformation begins first within you and then flows out to everything and everyone around you. So here's the truth. There's no more time to lose. You already know what you need to do. Maybe the world doesn't yet see your full potential, but God does, and He's waiting for you to finally take on what you were always meant to be. Your power is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. Now is the time to act, because the call is before you, and life is ready to accompany you on this journey. What you do from here on in can change everything. The power that God has placed within you can no longer wait. The time to act is now. You are not here by chance, and what you carry within you is much greater than you realize. Every step towards your purpose causes transformation to begin, within you and in the world around you. Don't allow fear or distractions to stifle this strength. The world needs what you have to offer, and God has chosen you to be a channel of light. So, if this message has touched your heart, don't let this moment pass you by. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and write in the comments how you intend to take the first step. Share it with someone who also needs to wake up to what they carry inside. Together, we can spread this transformation. Thank you for watching. Your journey begins now. Let's go together.